Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Go the Distance podcast series. My name is Sadie, and you can find my social media links at milehighradio.com/go-the-distance. And you'll be able to download my previous episodes as well as find my Facebook group and my Instagram. So feel free to check it out there. Also, check out all the shows on milehighradio.com. Big shout out to everyone there who's helped me get everything set up and get me on the air. So thank you to everyone over at Mile High Radio, especially Lynn Burnett. Today I'm going to start by sharing a couple of comments from Facebook from the last two episodes, and I'll be responding to them. Then I will talk about my strategies for dealing with anxiety or nervous thoughts. So one comment I got from, I think it was the first episode, says, instead of fighting against anxiety, embrace it as a heads up and get to know it, and then it won't frighten anymore. Name it and bring it into the light. Let your eternal light reveal the dark corners for what they are, just dark corners. It is our peripheral vision that keeps us in the dark. And she said, shine on, Sadie, but I'd like to share that forward and tell everyone who's listening to shine on. Okay, so the next, I guess I should respond to that. I really like the way that that's worded about like lighting up your dark corners for what they are. It's just a dark corner. There's things in life you can't control, and when you realize that and you accept that some things are just out of your control and you just have to let them go and move on to the next thing and just let what be is be. And if it motivates you enough, you'll find a way to make a change or to do things differently, I guess. But some things just, you have to pick your battles, I guess. I really like how she also said to embrace your anxiety, because it's something that we all feel and have, and it's not anything to be ashamed of or to feel badly about. It's part of everyone's life, and how you deal with it really defines who you are. The next comment that I got was maybe the topic of how there's new research excuse me, and findings to suggest that most mental health issues stem from legitimate health conditions or hormone deficiency, and that mental issues are symptoms, not the cause of a lot of people's problems. Might be a good perspective to follow up on or open some minds to, as it's largely unknown to most. And that was from Danielle Tatey. So I like that that you brought that up, because a lot of the time we think, oh, that person's crazy, or that person, it doesn't have all their marbles, or however you want to say it, right? Like we tend to just attribute it to that, but we don't consider that there's other things that can contribute to your mental health, that your health doesn't start just at mental health and then go down from there. Like having physical pain all the time can cause mental issues, and having hormone deficiencies or health conditions that are tiring or draining or things like this, that people that are experiencing those things on a daily basis need to have, maybe like lower expectations or something, because having to deal with that and keep up with the pace of society would be impossible, I think. We have to be like accepting of everyone's needs, even if it means we're not like the quickest at something or the best at something. I think human life is more valuable than, making all these crazy sacrifices. I also don't think that we should really be working 40 hours a week. There's so many people who don't have jobs, and people don't want to work 40 hours a week. The only reason we do is because of money. But if we just like change the way things were, then we could make it so that everyone has access to income and good food and good clothing and housing. And just because people are different, it doesn't mean that they have to be like completely shunned from society and cast away. There's a place for everyone in the world. Okay, so I kind of already said this, but anxiety is something, this is now sort of my comments and stuff. So anxiety is something we all have to deal with, and some people have found really effective ways to deal with it. It really all comes down to true self-care for me. Like if I'm using like temporary ways to feel better, then that has to be considered, because like if I'm like, I like to draw and I don't ever take time for it, and like if I were to choose to do that more often, I would feel a lot better, because after I do something like take, I don't know, an hour, 2 hours to draw, I don't know, I just feel a whole lot different. And it's not like, I don't know, it's not the same as other like, I don't know, I've tried like a hot shower or like going for a walk or other things, but and it's not just drawing either. It could be any kind of like activity that you're just like fully engaged in. We spend our time like so preoccupied with like being busy and like, I don't know, like cleaning up or cooking and doing all these things, working, taking care of kids, pets. We don't actually like stop and fully engage in an activity very often. And I think that contributes to really positive mental health, because I feel like you're using like a different part of your brain. I don't actually know. I should look that up, but it's just, yeah. It's interesting to have like that kind of awareness where you're just like really focused in on like something you're doing, and you're not like distracted by outside things. I guess inside like thoughts and stuff too could be a distraction. For me, I like to take a lot of deep breaths. It gives me a couple of seconds to think. It gives my brain and my body more oxygen, and it also like slows my thinking down. I also encourage my students to take deep breaths, especially when they're feeling silly. So that's definitely a strategy that I like to use. I don't even honestly like consciously do it anymore. My mom taught me to do it at like a really young age. So I just always like, I'll just be like, just like taking a big deep breath in the middle of like, if I've got like five kids up out of their chair asking me a question at the same time, and I'm like trying to teach a student something, I'll just like take a deep breath, and then some of them even actually notice and go sit back down, and some of them still stand there, but it's kind of funny. Or like if I'm trying to do something and it's not working out and it's frustrating, I just take a deep breath, because again, it gives me that second to think, and then maybe I might think of a different way to to tackle what I'm trying to do. If it's not working, then it's good to try a different way. I was gonna say there's a quote that that I was like kind of thinking of there. I forget how it goes. Nope, it's gone. Okay, so another thing that I like to do to help myself is, like I said, take time for activities like art and drawing. Other activities I like to do is practicing drums or guitar. I do enjoy practicing flute as well, but I need to get my flute tuned, so it's not, I don't really want to play it right now because it's not sounding very good. Those are things like I was saying, like it's really good to take time to do, and I don't do it nearly often enough. And those kinds of activities, I have made a commitment to myself that I want to be practicing or doing them, once a week, or I'd like to do it more than that actually, but each of them once a week maybe would be a good place to start. But I want to slowly start adding more time for those kinds of things into my daily routine or weekly routine. Another big contributor to not only physical health but also mental health, including your anxiety management, is getting enough exercise. It plays such a big role in how your body works. Like when you get your heart rate going, you're getting your blood flow to circulate through your whole body at a much quicker rate, and that helps keep things flowing. Like if you think about how blood clots form, they're like little buildup of bad bacteria or tartar or whatever it is. Not bacteria. I don't actually remember, but it's a buildup of something in your veins. Fat tissues, something. I don't know. I should know these things. I shouldn't say I should. But yeah, so if you're exercising and causing your blood to flow more quickly, a faster flowing river is more likely to cause stones to tumble down it as opposed to a slow paced river. So I'd imagine the same kind of thing is true inside your body. If you're getting your blood to flow quickly, it's maybe like more of like cleaning the walls of your arteries and your veins and things like that. I'm not a doctor, so I don't actually know that for a fact, but it makes sense to me. So one thing too, not only is it good for your physical health, but getting enough exercise really helped boost my confidence, because every time I'd exercise, I'd set a goal for myself. So if I was going to the gym and I was lifting like 15-pound weights for a certain exercise, then I'd work towards, I think they went up by still a pound up to 20. Maybe not, I don't know, like 15 to 20, say, like I'd want to jump up the 20-pound weights within 2 weeks or 3 weeks or a month or whatever, depending on what the exercise was. And every time I would increase my weights or increase my repetitions or my timing, it felt good because I'd set that goal and I actually achieved it. And so that's actually a big thing I miss about going to the gym, is having that like sense of achievement, because it's something that you do on a regular basis. And like at work and stuff, you don't always set like goals for yourself. It's more like tasks, and it doesn't feel quite the same, I guess. When I will go for like walks or runs, I usually set an expectation for like how far I want to go or how long I want to run or walk for. And I don't know, that also, like having that destination to work towards just makes it, I don't know, just a lot more engaging, I guess. I don't know, it just like makes me want to do it more, I guess. I don't know, maybe I'm competitive. Maybe just with myself, I guess, more than anything. And to be honest, I haven't really been going for walks or runs lately. It's been raining and I've been working full time, and it's usually like late by the time I'm done everything. So, but I do spend a lot of time on my feet at work, and I walk between the buildings, which doesn't really count, but another way I help myself deal with anxiety is I try to prioritize my tasks. So if I'm feeling anxious about something that I need to get done and I'm really worried about getting it done, or I think I'm not going to get it done because I don't have enough time or whatever, then I'll say, okay, well, there's a few dishes in the sink I need to do because I just cooked dinner. Or I can leave those till tomorrow and then the sink will actually be full and I won't waste so much water. I tend to like rinse my dishes then, so there's not like food to attract bugs and stuff like that. But it's like, do I go do that load of laundry and spend that extra 10 minutes right now? Is there like an article of clothing that I need for tomorrow and that's why I need to do laundry, or can it wait? Just like little things like that. Oh, do I need to like spend half an hour on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook or whatever website? Or can I get my work done and then maybe stay up 15 minutes later and do that at bedtime instead? So yeah, I try to make sure that like whatever's most important gets done right away, and then I don't have to worry about it, and then I can actually even try to get ahead of what I'm doing so I can get those tasks done before they're due, like even further before they're due. But you have to be careful then not to be working all the time too. Another point that I have here is that I'll make sure I eat well because I have food allergies and I get really bad migraines if I eat corn products. So I allow myself time to cook fresh foods, and I also allow myself time to like read every single label at the grocery store, because every time they get that product in, it could be a new recipe. So you have to continually check the ingredient lists in case, because I've had experiences where they changed it and I started getting migraines again, and I was like, what the heck's going on? Like, all of a sudden I'm getting migraines. And then, yeah, I realized, oh, I haven't been checking the labels at the grocery store. And sure enough, there's corn in it now, and there wasn't before. So you have to watch and allow time for stuff like that. For me, those like allowing myself time to cook fresh foods and read labels and take time for food is important, because quick, cheap meals are kind of expensive and repetitive because there's only a few options really for me. And so it's good to like take time to actually make food that I like, because I'd rather be eating something I enjoy eating than be eating like the same thing all the time just because it's convenient. Sleeping a solid 7 or 8 hours is when I usually feel the best. If I get less sleep, I'm usually a lot more tired, and I have a harder time controlling my anxiety and my thoughts. And I don't know, I just feel like I've got energy for the whole day when I get 7 or 8. Usually 8 hours is like really the best. But usually people get like, well, I shouldn't speak for other people. I don't have a research fact to back that up. But like usually when I get like 6 or less hours of sleep, I'm like, dragging my butt through the day. And one last point that I have is that positivity is another way I deal with my anxiety. when I find myself thinking in a negative way, I take some deep breaths and try to think about something good in the situation. I try to get my brain to recognize positive things, because the more attention you give to positive characteristics you want to see and have, the more you'll start to notice them, and the more you'll, like, for example, like in my classroom, if I start giving attention to students who help me stack the chairs or offer to get out the pencil crayons and or markers, or who offer to wipe the tables, if I start giving attention to those things as opposed to the kids who are talking out in class or giving shouting out the answers, or like talking to another student when they're supposed to be listening, or being silly or whatever, then those students are going to be like, hey, I'm not getting attention for being silly anymore. Those people are getting attention for something, and I've got to figure out what it is. And then they'll watch and they'll see and they'll be like, oh, they're getting attention for helping, so I'm going to offer to do this or that. And that's when you start seeing those positive characteristics that you really want to see. And so that's another way that, like, when I'm feeling anxious or negative or depressed, then I start thinking in a negative way and I don't notice the positive things. And that's when I have to like catch myself and be like, oh no, I need to be positive. I need to notice something good in this. And yeah. I'd like to end it there, and I'd like to say thanks again for all my supporters, and thanks for those comments that kicked off the show. I always appreciate feedback from everyone. Again, shout out to Mile High Radio and Lynn Burnett for getting this all set up, and I'll look forward to seeing you guys next time.